State dinner, a lavish affair last night. Among the attendees were big-name celebrities like George Clooney, some of the president's top fundraisers, all dining on your dollar. Here to weigh in is Nile Gardener of the Heritage Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, the stats on this
My pleasure.
Are pretty astounding. The people that were there are bundlers. They represent, raking in money from their friends. They represent about $11 million raised for the Obama re-election campaign. But they're at a state dinner with the British Prime Minister. And to me, it seems like a reward for having donated to the president, but it's on tax dollars. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And I think that last night's state dinner was quite a vulgar example, I think, of an abuse of power by the Obama presidency. After all, 41 out of the 364 invited guests last night were major donors to the Obama re-election campaign. This was a state dinner at taxpayers' expense. It probably cost well over $500,000 to host this dinner last night. And Barack Obama was essentially rewarding some of his top donors for a dinner that's supposed to be all about the Anglo-American special relationship, but he turns it into a political sort of campaign prop, as it were, and I think that's very, very distasteful.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like, of course, other presidents have done this. This is not just a Democrat thing. I'm sure Republican presidents have done this. It's not unusual. It's just that it's not right. I mean, when you look at the these are times when we're supposed to be, showing austerity and restraint. Instead, they're having crisp halibut with a potato crust, bison Wellington, which sounds interesting, red wine reduction, French beans. Yeah, here we go. Here's the menu for the state dinner last night. Do you think that they worry about the PR backlash? Because I have already heard a lot about this so far this morning. Were they thinking about that, do you think?
They should be worrying about the PR backlash. After all, the United States now has a $15 trillion debt, which Barack Obama himself has contributed a great deal towards. Prime Minister David Cameron has presented himself as an austerity prime minister, and yet he was flown over on Air Force One to attend a college basketball game at great taxpayers' expense. The flights alone cost about $500,000 US. And this isn't really the right message to be sending at a time when governments need to be cutting government expenditure, especially the US government. This is a big government administration that has spent money like water. And I think that it's sent a lot of the wrong signals this week. And also, of course, they've used the British Prime Minister as an election prop. And that, I think, is certainly undignified. It's distasteful. And let's not forget, of course, this is an administration that has insulted Britain on many, many occasions. It's undercut the special relationship. It's now suddenly rolling out the red carpet for the British Prime Minister in an election year.
Niall, wait, I got to back you up for a second. Did you say that David Cameron flew here on Air Force One?
No, David Cameron was actually flown to Ohio, a crucial swing state, for a college basketball game 2 nights ago by the president. And that trip alone cost at least $500,000, probably up to $1 million, including all the security costs as well. And of course, the Prime Minister was really being used, I think, by the president for election purposes. So I think all in all, the Obama administration has demonstrated once again that it doesn't really have a great deal of concern for the budget deficit or for the Anglo-American special relationship. You know,
I ask this in all seriousness. I'm not being sarcastic at all. Do you think that a state dinner serves a purpose versus just having a meeting and, maybe a photo opportunity afterwards? Is there a value to spending $500,000 to $1 million on a dinner?
I think that it would have been better, considering the huge amount of debts that both the US and the UK have, and considering the fact that tens of millions of people are unemployed here in the United States, for the Prime Minister and the President to simply have sat down to a simple dinner and discussed the key issues, notably, of course, cutting government spending and reducing the debt.
Yeah, it's just frustrating to see my tax dollars spent that way. As I'm looking at this video of this lavish dinner, it is really irritating. Nile Gardener, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.